Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in the field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
You are my servants. Remember your place. We obey you, Majesty. We are honored to toil for you.
The time is right. The harvest will work swiftly.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
Yes, Your Highness. We will obey. You are doing well. Thank you, my king. Let them see the might of the throne. Yes, Your Majesty. Work. Let the land yield its riches. Yes, Your Majesty. I survey my domain. They are toiling as commanded. Yes, Your Majesty. We work until the sun sets. Let them work. The yield today is satisfactory. Keep them working. Yes, Your Majesty.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shah. All right, and we want to get into this week. All right, this Monday evening. Okay, it's another weekly lesson. Going into the secret counsel of the wicked. All right, because now, as of late, what these devils are trying to pull off, which is a new world order. Well, this has been a long time in the making. All right. And what we're seeing is enlightenment, okay, what they call the age of enlightenment ideology that's running the earth. And now that these devils have, certain technology, to try to pull off, a system of complete control, we see that these devils, all right, are in full gear trying to establish this new world order. Okay. So we're going to go into the secret council of the wicked, dealing with the Illuminati, which the Illuminati was financed, by the bankers, okay, because the bankers, all right, over, these secret councils, these secret societies, these secret groups, skull and bones, this and that. But the Illuminati, their ideology is the ideology that we see that runs America, and America has been that major influence in the earth, and this is where we at now. And this is the ideology that Yahweh Shai is coming to destroy, So let's get there real quick in the book of Psalm 64. We start at 1.
Come, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, starting at verse 1. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O power. In my prayer, preserve my life from the fear of the enemy.
Go ahead.
Verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Yeah, so that secret counsel of the wicked, it begins with the elite bankers, okay? And they run the earth. They've been running the earth in the shadows for a long time, okay? So it's their secret council that governs the earth. They have a hand in all these different governments, and they use the Illuminati, to infiltrate, all right, governments, colleges, schools, business, finance, okay, so forth and so on, entertainment, whatever you think of, these devils, have infiltrated, all right, these high places of influence, man. So now it's their counsel, and they have counsel. Matter of fact, real quick, go to Micah 2:1, Bible shop. Let's get that real quick in the book of Micah, chapter 2:1.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, starting at verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, it's in the power of their hand, because they have, so many people, that's installed in all these different high places, and it's to the point now where they fully have control over most of the governments in the earth, man. Some more than another, but they have control of the governments of the earth. Okay, in America, they have complete control. You see, that's why America, you have no government. All right, you're ran by corporations. You see, so what we're seeing now that these devils, they're putting forth their agenda, which is to establish a new world order. And especially in America, they want to bring order out of chaos. All right, and that's why we see chaos on the increase in America. Well, it's the elite bankers, okay, that's pushing this this enlightenment ideology, okay, through technology on the globe, okay, and all these nations are in agreement, with this technocracy, man. They might have disagreements with how they want to do it, but the basic concept of this technocracy, they all in agreement, man. So yeah, let's go back. Let's get Mark 4:22. Any brother has something or want to say something?
I'm getting the meaning of that word puppeteer, government puppeteer, but we can get it after that. You said what was the next precept you wanted?
Mark 4:22.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 22. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad.
Yeah, so everything is laid out now, and the Lord had a timing, where he wanted to begin to expose, all right, these elites and how they run the earth, man. They control the school curriculums, they control, food supply, they control the energy, they control certain militaries of the earth, man. Government officials. You see, so it's so much that these devils have control of. All right, and all they do is plot and scheme, and they just been, pushing. All right, the governments of the world. All right, to a one world government, man. And now we right here at the doorstep of. But we know, according to the scriptures, that's when the Lord's going to intervene. Eventually, the Heavenly Father's going to send Yahweh to break this shit up, man. He's going to allow this war to get out of control, and then he's going to send Yahweh to break everything up, man. You know, but you had some, bro.
Con.
I got close enough.
No, go ahead, Lamar.
If we can get Psalms 83 verses 2 down to verse 4.
Con, I got you. This is the book of Psalms 83, starting at verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a turmoil, and they tumult the water, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have
so the enemies is the spearhead of Esau, Edom, and they got together with these other nations and conspired and come up the way to continually oppress and trying down the nation of Israel. Okay, you go into the scriptures about Lazarus and the rich man, where the other nations was licking the wounds of the Israelites, so they all had hands in the destruction of Israel to the best of their ability. And that crafty counsel was done in secrecy. It wasn't no Israelites there, none of the 12 tribes were there, because they did it in a deceitful, scheming way. That way they could blindside and just bring havoc on the nation of Israel. You got it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Verse 4, it says, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
And how did they do that, man? They did that by giving us all these different names of bywords, indoctrinating Israel with all these different philosophies and customs, these westernized customs and ways of living, telling us that we're black, Negroes, mixed, just all kind of, ways of altering the thought process of the nation of Israel, which separated us further from our power, because, back in the ancient days, we knew our power was. Even in slavery, man, you had the Israelites out there in captivity on the plantation, still chanting and singing songs, man. Swing low, sweet chariot, just songs that relates to the Heavenly Father, man, calling on the name. But these devils start beating it out of us. They start doing wickedly by buck breaking, these type of activities and these wicked things they was doing, man. It only separates us more from our power. And they continue on to this day to do it, man. Now the secret is out. We know what these devils are doing, but they still come together in secrecy to do things, to bring forth, like the deal with all the data centers, man. And, this was a council they had to where they're going to build these particular data centers, and they're in areas that predominantly Jake live, man, which is causing respiratory problems, different breathing problems, cancer, and it's going to be a financial burden to Jake. But all these things are still a part of their crafty council that they consult with each other on how to destroy the nation of Israel as well as forward their agenda. You got it, bro.
Come. You want to read some more on that?
Yeah, just verse 5.
Okay, come.
Verse 5, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
And that's the thing. They all are on, like the elder priest said, they're all in the same mindset. They all have the same agenda, man, is to bring forth a digital wicked system, oppress and destroy the nation of Israel to the best of their ability, and just change the world into a digital slave plantation, man. This is their wicked mindset, you know. But the Lord is not going to allow them to fill their bellies, man. The scriptures say, you know, but prophecy has to be fulfilled. That's why we see these things happen. But nevertheless, the Lord is steady raising up the prophets, man, who are preaching and teaching these things, man, and telling people what's going to happen. Prophecy, man, saying before it happens. But that's all I got, bro.
Come on, bro. Yeah, you had something?
Yeah, come on, bro. Hey, first and foremost, hey, Shalom Akim Yabashim Nashar
Shalom,
Shalom, bro.
Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I think you can read down on it from like 3 to 10.
God, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, starting at verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin shall be revealed, the son of perdition.
Yeah, Esau, you know, first and foremost, we understand, you know, this Esau, and the scripture goes into how the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, you know, which is Esau. So, and we understand how when Yahweh shall come, to destroy the earth, he gonna have to be dealt with, you know. So you got it.
Verse 4, it says, who oppressed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High.
Yeah, so this devil, he want to be like the Most High, you know. But we understand how Satan how he gonna fall fast as lightning, man. His rulership is gonna be cut asunder, man. He don't have long rule, man. But he's being puffed up, like, because the scriptures go to how he's a proud man. You know, he's being puffed up to basically be brought low, because we understand how that pride go before destruction and the heart of spirit before fall. So of course this man, he gonna try to exalt himself, you know, above the Most High, like he is the Most High. You can read on, bro.
Verse 5, it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what would hold it, that he might be revealed in his time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the Lord revealing this, man. For one, you got these 3 witnesses, right? Mm-hmm. So the Lord revealing this, man, on every level, man. You know, you even got, you know, these point, you got the southern, northern.
So you got the 2 witnesses. Yep.
Yeah, of course, you know, the southern and northern kingdom, but then you got what you call them, bro, that third witness,
the whistleblowers.
The whistleblowers, yeah. Even coming up speaking against this man.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro. And then it said, if I could just add, it said withholding in this time, because it's time for this devil to be revealed. You know, and that's why even when we see things play out now, like the White House shoot, you know, from Saturday, you know, everybody know what it is. You know, people not even flinching, you know, when this devil do his stunts anymore, you know, because he's been revealed so much that, you know, you can see the BS from a mile away now. So like you said, you got the northern and southern kingdom, which in the scriptures speak about the 2 witnesses, you know, but in the spirit, you know, brothers include the third witness, you know, which are these alternative news sites, these whistleblowers, these insiders, okay, these people that used to be, you know, high up, you know, in military, you know, used to be high up in banking, used to be high up in these different industries where they was hands on, all right, around the wickedness, you know, that these devils were doing behind the scenes. So now the prophet's been out, but now you can add, like you said, that third witness, you know, that's complementing, you know, with certain information. They don't have the truth, but they got certain information, you know, that complement what the prophet's saying, man. You know, just going to what the brother's saying. You got it though, bro.
Yeah.
read it. You may go ahead and read on down, bro.
Yeah, come, but read to verse 10, Baba Kasha.
Come, verse 7. It says, "For the mystery of iniquity doeth work already. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way." And
Yeah, so
then,
this real quick, hey, yeah, the Most High, the Most High allowing this man to he allowing his wickedness to build up, to a certain point, until he come and taking him out, until he send Yahweh Shai to take him out of the way, man. Going into how that wickedness have exceedingly polluted the earth, have been a golden cup. Hey, he basically got to fulfill all these prophecies concerning himself for Yahweh Shai to do, which going to fulfill prophecy, because at the end of the day, hey, this man is written in prophecy, man.
mm-hmm. Good. It says, verse 8, it says, "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy them with the brightness of his coming."
Yeah, so then you got this prophets out, giving you the rundown on who this wicked is, man. Let you know, hey, see, because their secret counsel, hey, this is a part of the Lord's movie. They, again, you got the prophets telling them what the hell their move going to be. Let them know who they are in the scriptures. Let them know how things going to go, and what they plan to do. Like this information is given on how. Remember the secrets of the Father given, are given unto his servants, the prophets, man.
Mm-hmm. It said, verse 9, "Even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved."
Yeah. So even this damn devil, scriptures go, he come to kill, steal, destroy, to deceive. This devil. Hey, scriptures say we wrestle not against real quick. Bro, want to get that real quick.
I think that's what Ephesians,
the 6th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead, bro. I got you.
12th verse.
Yeah, come. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places."
Yeah, and we understand that, hey, Esau Edom, he coming after this spiritual demon Satan, on the left hand side, because this is the left hand of the Most High right here in the earth, man. So this is what our fight is against. Hey, this man enterprise that he's trying to set up again to bring everything under this one world rulership, this governing, basically to be worshipped. Again, going all the way back, he want to be worshipped as the Most High, and even going into, because we understand his what he's trying to do at the end of the day. He's trying to get everybody under one rule, which is going to be under that basically under the NWO, but under the guisemanship of the Karagma,
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see, but the Lord, like the brother went into, the brother Yash went into, hey, the Lord gonna intervene, he gonna cut that shit short, man. This devil, he only gonna be allowed to go so far, like the previous scripture you just read. Only he that'll let it, and he gonna let him go until he be taken out of the way. So hey, at the end of the day, this man, he's under, hey, Esau under surveillance, man. But not only surveillance, shit, he's under control.
Mm-hmm. Come.
Mm-hmm. I got that precept for you. This is Job 14:5. "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass."
Yeah. And then the end, the scripture goes into how the end was manifest from the beginning, and we understand how Esau is the end of the world. So, hey, it's all written. Everything is flowing beautifully as it should, because, hey, all things obey his will, man. All things obey the will of the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son. Yeah, that was it on that, bro.
Come on, bro. That was it on there. You say You had that word puppeteer still?
Come, I got you. I got you right here. Quick Google search going into the puppeteer government. You know the meaning of it in the slang, and then I got it on the chat too, because the chat will pretty much sum it all up. But I got the Google too for the sake of the synonyms. It says a government puppeteer or a puppet government or regime refers to a nominally independent nation or leader entirely controlled, managed, or manipulated by a more powerful foreign entity or invisible elite organization. It implies to the government. It implies the government holds outward
And that's
symbols of.
exactly what we're seeing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing. You know, and for the longest, you know, America's been ran by puppet governments. You know, it's been the most powerful nation militarily, economically, and then you'll have America. They'll set up other puppet governments. You know, so you had America, which is a puppet government to the elites, and they'll go and set up other puppet governments to America, man. You know, like these GCC nations. You know, a lot of these Central South American nations. They're all puppet leaders, man. You know, so here it is. You have the elites, you know, that through America, all right, they've been able to fully control. Because you even look at like Brazil. Like Brazil is further than America when it comes to the digital infrastructure, man. Certain nations like Brazil, Argentina, and even Mexico, all right, is you know, going fully digital. You know, so you have, you know, the elites, you know, through America, man. America has been their throne. You know, America has been their puppet throne that they've been running the world through. Okay. And what we're seeing now, okay, is America being dismantled because they want to establish a new world order, you know, and they really want that greater Israel project, you know, and that's why, you know, they push hard to destabilize their region, you know, over there in what they call the Middle East, but really Western Asia, you know. So these devils, these elites, okay, they've been plotting and scheming in the background for a long time, man, and everything is now full circle. And now the Lord is bringing them out to the open because He's finna judge their ass, man. You know, you got it, bro.
Was going into like a puppet state, meaning that outside of the name, you know, America really had no control over nothing, you know. But I got this one here real quick on the chat. The chat really summed it up. It says a government puppeteer is an unofficial term because they use it. It said because it's used as a figurative or slang expression, but that still applies to America, Babylon the Great. It says it usually refers to someone or a group who is believed to be secretly controlling or influencing a government behind the scenes, much like a puppeteer controls a puppet. The idea is that the visible leaders, i.e., your presidents and your local officials, you know, going into your so-called elected officials, so-called elected president, you know, it says are not truly in charge. You know, and we see that. You know, it says, but are instead being guided or manipulated by hidden forces. And we know who that hidden forces are. You know, going into the elites of this world. You know, the ruling Edomite families who runs the globe right now. I got the other lookup too, bro, going into that purpose when you want that. If you want me to read this part here, that was pretty much it. But I can read this if you want me to.
Nah, that's good. Get the get that with the purpose, and then did you have some a lot?
Kind of.
Okay, cool.
Let's get that purpose, and then you let her lock. You lock right with.
Just a quick look up. You know, earlier today, you know, when we were going into it, I just typed it in. You know, on Google just see how it pop up. I said the 13 ruling Edomite families today. You know, we know who they are. You know, Google is not gonna really give us, you know, they're not gonna really give us that, you know, just throw it out there like that. But the devil slipped up. That nigga slipped up here. It says this is their purpose. It says the theory suggests that Well, I'm gonna
Now
reread
start
this.
it start where it say Rothschild and Rockefeller.
Come on, that's why I said I'm gonna
Yeah, start where it
reread
say,
it first. Right here.
you know. Now right up under where it say Rothschild and Rockefeller.
Come on. It says Rothschild and Rockefeller often cited as the top banking and oil dynasties of power, controlling global finance and natural resources. It says the
Yeah,
Illuminati
so this is
theory.
why you see, and this is what you see now, with these energy wars, because these devils want all the energy, man, because the new world order, it's very energy intense. It takes a lot of energy to run a technocracy, man. It takes a lot of oil, and this is why we see, they launched those attacks on Iran, okay, because they wanted control of their Iranian oil because that would have gave them control over 9 of the top 10 oil producing countries, man, outside Russia, which Russia, the least have their hands in Russia as well, and Russia's down with the New World Order, okay? But we know that Iran, their oil wasn't being sold for petrodollars, okay? So they wanted to put, all right, Iran oil on the market for petrol, man, because they still gonna collapse the economy. They still was gonna cause a reset, but they made a move for this Iranian oil, and the Lord still put it in a position to where, okay, now they still able to do their global reset, okay? They're still able to have an energy crisis. They're still able to go forth with their agenda, okay? But now we just see prophecy has jumped in the picture, man, to where you have Ezekiel 38, all right, Revelation 16 and 15, okay, Jeremiah 50 and 9. You see, because what we have to understand is also is that these elites, they be falling out with each other, man. When you go into the history of these elites and these certain members and certain, Freemasons and Skull and Bones, and they fall out, So what we're seeing, just like these devils always, like they always do, they always fight over who gonna control this new system, man. They agree with the new system, but as we get closer to the system being rolled out, man, they fighting for control over it, man. And that's the Lord got these devils, Xing each other out. But you go into the Rothschild and which are most of the bankers, and then Rockefeller, which they mostly deal with the oil, dealing with the oil refinery. Okay. So what we're seeing playing out, all right, is these devils, going for gusto. They going for it all, man. All right, but you go back to it, bro.
It says the Illuminati theory. Arthur Fritz Springmeier and bloodlines of the Illuminati and others claim that these specific families are high-ranking members of a Mariah or satanic
Yep.
hierarchy that uses intermarriage to retain power.
Yep. Go ahead.
It says the purpose. This theory suggests these families aim to reduce the global population to under 1 billion to control resources.
Yeah, and see, why do they need to free up resources? Because the New World Order is very energy intense, man. And that's why they have such a major depopulation agenda, all right, to depopulate these nations, to starve people out, to keep these wars going continually, to depopulate, okay, because they need to free up as much resources as possible for the New World Order, because they've already had to counsel a lot of these data centers because they don't have the energy to turn them on, you know. So the Lord is forcing this devil, to really go with his move, man, to make drastic, okay, to be drastic in trying to pull this thing off, man. You know. So but yeah, you got this. That's all I want on that, bro. But you got a lot with that a lot, guy.
You want the last piece right here, bro? Going to what you and y'all was saying.
What
It says these claims
what it
argue.
say?
It said these claims argue they aim for a one world government.
Yeah, that's what they want. And after yeah, no, you got it. That's it. Yeah, that's the point. And we see them trying to put that together, man. You know, like I say, they got all these nations on board. You know, the digital infrastructure. So now it's just trying to transition from this old system to the new system. Okay, what you got, bro?
Come. This is the book of for the priest a lot. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, and verse 8. Let me read that whole thing.
Yeah, verse 18.
Come, this is Psalm chapter 64, verses 8 through 10. It says, so they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doings.
Kind. And what you see here with all this Google searching, with all this Chat GBT searching, you see this man's tongue falling on himself, like this information, all this man's secret doings is being revealed. You know, all his secrets doings is being revealed. You know, this man has nowhere to hide. You know, because the Lord said, "What he's been as an example." You know, and this you see he can try to hide this, he can try to hide that, but it's too late. Like he'll try to water down the chat, he'll try to water down your Google searches, but nah, we have the information now. Like what they do with that stupid stunt they did, they blew up the Georgia Guidestone. Nah, we already you didn't wrote it down for everybody to see. Reduce the population. They had that built, engraved, and posted. It was one of the major sites of America, and they blew it up. But it's too late. It's been there for decades. You know.
Verse 10, it says, the righteous shall be glad in the Lord Yahweh, it shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory.
Because we know that, you know, he's being revealed. If he's being revealed on this level, and it was prophesied that he would be revealed on this level, don't you think the Lord Yahweh is going to protect you from him? You know, protect you from these secret counsels, protect you from this man's plotting, you know. You know, because this devil, what he's constantly in counsels. How can we make them sicker? How can we make them dumber? How can we get them to destroy all themselves? That's that secret secret counsels. How to destroy Israel on every level, you know. On every level, because if you find a way up, you're going to keep climbing. You give me that. I got you. What you need? I think it's Judas 20:5. Well, not probably 20. If I'm remembering right.
You said Judas 20:5.
Yeah, I think it's an apocrypha.
Yeah, it's an apocrypha. I got you. Give me 1 second.
Because they're gonna constantly
Judah 5:20,
5:20 constantly 5:20, because they're constantly going to try to keep you down and keep you away from your power, you know, to keep you to keep that wedge. So what you don't return to your power, because you return to your power. What we say, I will they return to me and forsake their wicked ways. I will heal them. I will heal their land. You know, roughly paraphrase, return them. You know, and he gonna be their power, and they gonna be my people. You know.
This is Judas chapter 5, verse 20. It says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
You see, they know our weakness. So what they're gonna constantly, have these counselors say, what can we do to have these people at odds with their power? You know, so they constantly, polluting the food, the mental state of our people with their social, with this media, with this crystal, this damn near crystal ball, to enchant our people. So they may be enemies of the Lord, and these are and it is exposed
Like it was this video I saw. It was a damn small hat on a plane, and it was something they was showing. That small hat took a huge blanket and covered it up.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to watch the stuff they put on this programming, but they don't want to show their kids it. You know, they don't want to show they don't want their kids to be hypnotized by social media, hypnotized by these commercials, these things that
music.
Oh, you got it.
Now I said you can't forget the rap music. That's their strongest enchantment.
I got one for you to back you up too, bro. You got it.
This is First Maccabees. First Maccabees. I think it's First Maccabees 1. I think it's 40. Basically going into how King Antiochus gave a decree that he wanted to make the nation of Israel unclean, you know, in all ways possible, because he knew that, you know, when we're in line with our power, you know, that there is no bounds there's no bounds to what Yahweh Shema Shai is going to do for us. But when we sinning and going off and we doing all these other things that goes against Yahweh Shema Shai, then that's our kryptonite. All right, and it says, trying to get straight to
41.
For 41 throughout.
41.
Come throughout. This is Second Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws, and all the heathen agreed accordingly to the commandment of the king. So this ain't the first time we see it in one world government. Go, Salaki.
No, you got. I just said this is what we're seeing now. You got it, bro.
Good. Like the scripture said, there's nothing new under the sun. This ain't the first time we seeing this. You know, everybody being under one government. You know, because that was the same thing. All right, verse 43. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers to Jerusalem that the city of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings Salakia in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and the festival days and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapel of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. Salakia.
Yep, profanation, yep.
Kind, you see all this, it was purposely to set you against your power, you know, to have you at odds, you know, because what they know, once you have that connection, that contact with Yahweh Shema Shai, you gain that power. He is our source of power, you know.
God read the last. It says, to the end they might forget the law, change all the ordinances. Whosoever would not do according to the commandment, the king said he shall die. So we're seeing this same thing play over and over again, except for this time, it's the MOTTB, you know, going into that one world government, that digital government. You know, Esau, eventually he's going to mandate it pursuant to Revelation, the book of Revelation chapter 13, you know, and if you don't get that Quran put in you, then of course, you know, there are going to be many people that are going to be put to death. You know, it's all predestinated how the Lord going to have it go. But we seeing the same thing play out, because even in verse 43, it says many of the Israelites consented to his religion. So 2/3 is going to consent to the MOTB.
Hey, if I could say that's why, you know, the Lord got that remnant he's preserving. You know, because all of Israel are not going to wake up to this truth. Most of Israel, 2/3, as brother saying to be exact, are going to continue to be rebellious, man. You know, And just like, during the time of Nebuchadnezzar, man, the three holy children, man, that Nebuchadnezzar wanted to bow down to that golden statue of him. But the Lord had a remnant, the three brothers that didn't bow the knee and that were willing to be put to death, man. And like brother saying, we're seeing that at this time, man. We see 2/3 of our people who are still having hope and trusting in Egypt, man. Where the elect, Abaratazar with those men, we're steady going on the front line and willing to lay down our life for y'all about me outshot, regardless of what this man bring to the forefront when it comes to his agenda with the charagma. We seen the test run with the jump shot, man. So like brother said, there's nothing new under the sun, man. So we're seeing a recap of things that happened in the past when they tried to bring forth that particular new world order in them times, man.
Good. This preach a lot. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, starting at verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. This is the wicked speaking. We all know who the wicked is. Esau, Edom. The man of perdition. Go ahead. Let us spare not the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Verse 12, therefore, let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn.
Because he is not for our turn. He know once Jacob get it, Jacob and go. It's Jacob's forever. He knows once he have to let it go, once it's his turn over with, he's going to be done away with. First he's going to be in that captivity, that long captivity. Then he's going to be done away with. That's why he's going to try to do everything in his power to hold on to this. That's what Scripture says. He's going to be like a madman sparing none.
It says, and he is clean contrary to our doing.
Clean contrary to our doing what? He's about going against our laws. He delights in it. This man loves eating all bloody meat. Or crustaceans, committing adultery, or alphabet or puzzling, This man delights in going against the natural ordinance of life, of nature, of the law that Yahweh Shem Shai has set up.
He is upbraided us with our offending the law.
We rebuking that nigga we rebuking him every day. Every day on the highways with these videos, ain't no way he's not getting rebuked. We're in the gates of the nobles.
It says, and objected to our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
We were like, hey, everything you do, your education, everything you're about, it goes against the laws of nature. It goes against the laws of Yahweh Shem Shai. This man is what? His spirit is not upright in him. This man is a true demon. That's why it means to be, Satan-like people. The devil is Satan-like people. He comes in the energy of Satan.
You had some?
Bro. Hey, what the Lord say, what has that to do with me? So hey, even though this at the end of the day, when all this said and done, it just like back he had sold his birthright, man. He didn't give a damn about he didn't give a damn about truth, man. He didn't give a damn about his birthright or his continuation at that point, But real quick, Bob Gashai, get Daniel, what is it? Daniel 2? Daniel 2:44. I think it's 2:44. You're going into how the Lord basically and he about to set down all these kingdoms, man, including this wicked that he set up in these last days. 2:40. Yeah, 44.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, starting at verse 44. It says that in the days of these kings, shall the Most High shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom that shall not be left to the other people, but it shall break into pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
So this kingdom here is gonna crush everything, because we understand the wicked is in the rulership, and we understand the powers of the earth right now, given into the wicked, and the counsel of the wicked has been, it's been basically exposed. But Yahweh Yahweh is about to set over it one that is profitable, one over the whole earth. Give all dominion unto his son, which is gonna crush and break down all these kingdoms, man. King of kings, Lord of lords, and won't none ever rise up out of the ashes, Hey, how about Shemi Shai is about to make a major statement in the earth, and it's gonna be set. Its tone gonna be set forever. It's gonna be again. It goes into, it just said, a kingdom that should be left to no other people. This is gonna be a kingdom without end. That word without end that we look for, that righteousness. This is what's going to be set up, man. But the wicked got to be first taken out of the way. And ain't nothing really they can do but obey Yahweh Shemi Shai's will. Baba Gashai got one more. It's get that Psalms 75. 75. Let's see. Psalms chapter 75 and verse verse 7. Now start at verse 6, Baba Kashai, and read on down.
Because this book of Psalms chapter 75 starting in verse 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another.
Hey, that's what we've been seeing. It's like, that's what we've been seeing. These different empires been, they've been coming out of through these wars or takedowns of another kingdom. Yahweh Shemi Shai been setting up and ruling in the kingdom of men. So at the end of the day, this is the Lord's movie going forth in the earth, man. That was the point. Move on to verse 8, Baba Kashai.
Verse 8, it says, for in the hand of the Lord Yahweh there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture. He poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
Yep, going to that judgment. If I'm not mistaken, that judgment. The right Prince Yash, that I think they're going into that judgment of Yahweh Shemi Shai going to bringing down these nations, man. See, because
they're gonna drink the cup we drunk up, captivity.
Going to even that double me.
Yeah, genocide. They gonna drink that cup.
Oh yeah, and then Esau shit.
And then the dregs. That's the worst part of it.
Yeah. The scripture say he ran into this nigga double, So, but we understand. Nations, they gotta go. They gotta fulfill these. No, they gotta fulfill prophecy, man. Prophecy gonna be fulfilled at that point. No matter what nobody gotta say, this is gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Baba Gashai, you can read to the end, verse 9 and 10.
Cause lock it, let me bring it back up. I got that. I looked that up for you. Read it for you real quick. That's a quick Google search. I just typed in, explaining what the dregs is and the cup. I'll read it for you real quick. It says, the dregs of a cup are the solid particles of sediment that settle at the bottom of a liquid, such as coffee grinds, tea leaves, or wine sediment. They are the remaining unwanted bits of a beverage that are not typically consumed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's
basically,
the most bitter part.
Yeah, that bitterness. Yeah, he don't want it. That made me think about that damn the hot water heater, because there with all this sediment, them dregs, everything that it fall to the bottom of the cup, which is that water tank too, that you don't want coming through your pipes for you to consume because it's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add, and if I may add, it said the unwanted parts. You know, we all know that Esau Edom don't want to go to slavery. We all know Esau Edom don't want to be at the bottom. You know Esau Edom don't want colored people on top. You know, the unwanted parts. You know, he don't want it. He'll dish it out, but what he don't want to.
Can't take it.
He can't take it. He a hypocrite. You know.
You said you wanted verse 8, bro?
Yeah, come, bro. If I may add real quick too, though, but hey, that's why he put a censorship on prophecy. You know, when the prophets go out, that's why he censors your channels, because hey, this devil being exposed, but how he even with being exposed, there's a certain level of accountability that he gonna have to take. You know, he gonna have to be accountable for this shit. So this devil, he don't want to be accountable for the wickedness that he done been in the earth. That wicked, he don't want to be that. That's why he put that on everybody. He want to be looked at as everybody under the sun except who? The wicked.
You said you want verse 8 again, bro?
No, bro. Just get verse 9 and 10, Baba Kasha.
Come on, verse 9 and 10. It says, "But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the power of Jacob."
All about Shimei Shah.
Come on.
You got it.
All the horns of the wicked also I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted.
So Yahweh Shimei Shah gonna be exalted fully in the earth, man. You know, hey, and this again, a continuing city, a one that will never be cut off. This is what we're looking forward to, man. You know, hey, that was it I had, bro. That's all I had.
Come on, bro. Lamar, you had something to close out with?
Come on, bro. Real quick, Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15.
This is book of Isaiah chapter 59. You said 29 or 59?
Verse 29, verse 15.
Shalaki. This is Isaiah 29, verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us?
So death, destruction, the Lord's judgment are coming upon these devils, man, who have been bringing forth their crafty counsels, their secrets, trying to hide their wickedness and their deceitful deeds that they're planning on doing to the Israelites as well as the other people in the earth, man. You know, they're going to be destroyed because of that, man, because they really think they got it figured out. They really think they hiding the card from the Lord, man. Well, Yahweh Shemai Shai, see what's going on. The angels see what's going on and reporting it. You know, the scriptures go to how their sins have reached into the heavens. And we know through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemai Shai, starting with our apostles, our elder bishops, brothers on down, we know who they are. We see them. You know, brothers remember the story. I know the elder priest Shaquat always mentions it about the limo that rolled up on the apostles. I think back when they was on 34th and asking them, how did they find all this stuff out, man? Because they've been spent all these amounts of monies to keep these things secret. Well, the simple answer is Yahweh Shem Shai, the Spirit of the Lord, man, that was put upon our apostles, their teachers, and the Lord revealed it, man. So, you know, that counsel, that secrecy they had, all that, you know, it worked for a while, but that's because the Lord allowed it to. But now the Lord exposing them, like brothers, y'all brought out, was it Luke? There's nothing healed that won't be revealed. The Lord has lifted up their skirt, man. Brothers mentioned the two witnesses as well as the third witness, these whistleblowers, you know, so everything is playing out the way the Lord ordained it to play out, man. You know, and we're witnessing it. And we're, you know, witnessing the fall of our enemies, man. And it's a beautiful thing. But that's all I got, bro.
Well, the point was made, you know. A lot of precepts came out, a lot of points came out, you know, a lot of information, came out through the spirit. Yahweh Shem out shot. So the point was made. And the secret counsel of the wicked revealed and is soon to be judged. Yahweh, the Heavenly Father sent Yahweh shot, all right, to judge and execute righteousness in the earth, man. And the elites are going to be at the forefront of their judgment, man, because they're the ones that cause all this wickedness that we see on the planet Earth. It all roots back to them, and they're doing so. Lord will you, brothers. All right, and your few sisters edified once again. I give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Wakakadash. Don't honor unto apostles and elders, GMS, rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.